Hi, my name is Bimal Maharjan, and I have a fantastic video for you. This is the result of almost a decade of research and self-experimentations and thousands of hours of reading and testing. I lived with chronic constipation, hemorrhoids, and fissures for years, but today I am disease-free. I realized that whether you have IBS, IBD, GERD, or another GI condition, the foundational root causes are the same. Everyone will keep running into three problems. First, we are told health is expensive, and we see an ocean of information, supplements, tests, superfoods, peptides, vitamin, and more. Second, information is passive. It only matters when you turn it into action, steps you can do today. And third, as symptoms fade, we forget what worked, and momentum breaks, discipline slips, and we slide back. I wanted a way to protect momentum so discipline becomes the default. I needed a way to make sense of that ocean, so what I learned actually stuck. This video is my map, and I will give you a framework so anything you read or watch after this fits into place and becomes memorable and turns into action. We will connect physics to biology. Imagine to move a boulder, you need a lever, a fulcrum, and force. That boulder is your disease. In your health, the lever is big system. The fulcrum is a protocol that fits your pattern, and force is your daily rituals that make change real. So, we will use levers and dials. Levers are what you control, and dials are the fine-tuning inside each lever. Then I will show you how to convert knowledge into action with protocols and rituals. And finally, a simple scoreboard so your momentum is visible and your discipline becomes automatic. Here is what we will cover. I will introduce 7 levers. 1. Nutrition and hydration. 2. Movements. 3. Sleep and circadian rhythm. 4. Stress and nervous system. 5. Microbiome. 6. Environment. And 7. Clinical navigation and testing. And give one high impact dial for each. Each lever and dial could be an episode on its own. We will go deeper in future videos. This is not a magical pill. If that's what you're looking for, you can stop watching. This is for people who want to pilot their own health and become scientists of their own body. Be skeptical of everyone, including me. Don't trust, test, and your body is the peer review. You can work with clinicians to rule out danger and then use this framework to run safe, low-cost experiments that actually move you forward. I promised a map. Now let me prove it, lever by lever. Let's start with nutrition and hydration, because health isn't about buying more bottles. It's about pulling the right levers. The cheapest, strongest one is nutrition and hydration. When I had constipation, I did what most of us do. I bought bottles, powders, probiotics, vitamins, all the dials. But my meals were still ultra-processed and all over the place with timing. Nothing stuck. What finally moved the needle was treating food and timing as the lever. But when I removed all the processed foods, then without those supplements, my constipation got better. That's what I mean. Food is the lever and supplements are dials. People say whole food is expensive. The food industry loves that story. But cooking at home with basic ingredients has been cheaper per meal for me, and it saved me from the hidden cost, extra snacking, flare-ups, missed days. I am not against supplements. I still use them after the free moves are steady. For me, that's sometimes vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, or a targeted probiotic, but only when a clinician and I agree it could change the plan, not just add clutter. Food starts the casket. Next, we will use movement to keep it moving. The way I like to say it, make your colon listen to your feet. Most of us think gut health is only about what we eat. I thought that too. Then I learned something simple. When I move, my gut moves. When I don't, it stalls. When I was struggling, I did what most people do. I tried the expensive route first. I joined the gym, looked at trainers, and bought memberships. It was too big a jump for me. I would go for a week, miss a few days, and momentum died. What stuck were three things I could do at home: walking, yoga, and body weight exercises. That's it. Later, when I wanted a little more strength and athleticism, I bought a kettlebell, about $50, and a pull-up bar, about 40. I learned the basics from YouTube videos. Simple, doable, repeatable. Here's the honest part. If your lifestyle is mostly sedentary, none of the fancy options help first. They add friction. So start small. For me, if I walk under about 2,000 steps in a day, my constipation is worse the next morning. That's my threshold. Yours might be different. So measure your own number. I treat movement as a lever, not a dial. Once the is set, you can fine tune later. Jogs, a real yoga class, a coach if you want. But first, make movement a normal part of your day. Sleep is the next lever. If you don't believe me, you don't have to go far. Ask a shift worker in your life what's their biggest complaints are. Digestion is almost always on the list. There is a reason. Your gut runs on a clock. I learned the hard way. When my bedtime wandered, travel, late dinners, social nights, my bowels changed the very next morning. When my sleep was steady, mornings were steady. Here's the part that surprised me. When I chose one time and protected it, even on weekends, my body started running a predictable overnight housekeeping wave. Morning regularity improved before I had a perfect bedtime. Blue light matters, but late calories were the wrecking ball. If I stop 2 to 3 hours before bed, close to 3 when reflux is active, I wake up lighter and less pressure and an earlier urge. Many people try melatonin. It does very little on nights if you are still snacking at 10 p.m. The big change comes from meal timing and a consistent wake time. Supplements only help after that. Why this mattered for gut? Digestion is stronger during the day and naturally slows at night. Late meals sit longer, feel heavier, and for me, they bubble instead of move. More reflux, more gas, poorer sleep. And sleep is when the body repairs. Less repair means more background inflammation, which shows up first in the sensitive systems like the GI tract. Fancy beds, red light panels, sleep trackers, those can be useful later if they change your plan. But those are costly. I started with these free foundations. My mornings changed without buying anything. Sleep isn't just rest, it's setup. Quiet nights write easier mornings. Next, we'll flip the stress and nervous system lever. The breath before bite shift that made meals calmer for me. So yes, stress is a gut lever. Not because you are anxious, but because the body is doing exactly what's wired to do under load. We live in a chronic stress that keeps us constant flight or fight mode. The biggest lever I pulled here was the breath. Take a deep breath instead of shallow breaths. Help me transform from fight or flight mode to rest and digest mode. That awareness alone was extremely helpful. And then I started turning dials such as breathing exercises and daily meditation to strengthen the breath awareness. So, no, you don't have to start with expensive therapies. Start with these levers and you can see the difference. Also, I am a founder. It's stressful. But what protects my gut isn't a magical pill, it's a foundations. The daily breathing exercises and meditation practice. And also realizing startup life is a marathon, not a sprint. So I schedule rest intervals on purpose, or my gut schedules them for me. Next, we'll feed the ecosystem that feeds you, the microbiome, starting with moves that cost almost nothing and still make tomorrow morning different. This one will surprise a lot of us. It surprised me. I am not a doctor, but I'm a student of science. For years, I thought digestion was just me, my organs, my cells. Then I stumbled into the word microbiome. First, the gut microbiome, then oral and skin, and even the microbes in the environment we live in. Mood, energy, stool form, gas, skin, even the smell of your breath. This ecosystem touches all of it. What shocked me wasn't that microbes matter. It was how little we talk about the foundations. Most of what I saw was bottles, prebiotics, probiotics, symbiotics. Those can help, but they are tiles. The liver is the ecosystem. What we eat, when we eat, how much we move, how we sleep, how sterile or natural our environment is. Looking back, I had plenty against my microbes. Antibiotics when I was younger, perhaps necessary but extremely disruptive. Stretches of ultra-processed foods, late nights, stress, a very sterile routine. When I started adding and subtracting the basics, my gut changed. Next, we will look at the environment lever, tiny swaps that lower irritants without raising your grocery bill. This one shocked me, and when I look back, it shouldn't have. We live in a kind of toxic soup, plastics and packaging, fragrances, toothpaste and soaps, ultra-processed foods, dusty apartments, mold, traffic, air, even each other's homes. Some of it we can't control. If your city has bad air or water, moving may not be realistic for most people. But the question I ask is, what can I control today so my gut isn't the victim of my zip code? A lot of internet advice goes straight to expensive swaps. Throw out all your pans, only glass. Buy this elite water system. I don't live like that. I am not extreme. I follow a simple rule. Reduce, refuse, replace. Lightly and cheaply. And I focus on levers first, not flashy tiles. My lever is to reduce plastics because plastics are everywhere. And that alone helped me a lot. I will talk separately about this. And rest dials such as non-stick pans can have impact after the main lever is pulled. Next, we'll finish with clinical navigation and testing. How I partnered with clinicians, rule out danger, and use test only when they change the plan. Everything we covered so far are levers you control. Great when your symptoms are driven by lifestyle. But sometimes the problem is not a lifestyle. It can be structural, strictures, inflammatory, genetic, ulcers, wounds, or something that truly needs medical intervention. In my case, I did an endoscopy and a colonoscopy rule out danger. Thankfully, they were normal. If your symptoms are severe or you see red flags, clinical care isn't optional, it's urgent. My honest concern, GI care is multidisciplinary and often expensive. So I asked, how do I shorten the path and make each visit count? The answer was preparation. When I walk in with good data and clear questions, those 20 minutes become productive. Knowing the possible root causes, diagnostic and treatment paths, and learning to make that clinical visit effective and ruling out serious illness is a lever that you can pull. We'll talk about it in detail in the coming videos. And if someone tells you diet can never affect IBS or pushes an invasive procedure without explaining why now and what changes if we find X, it's reasonable to seek a second opinion. I am not anti-doctor. I have met with brilliant clinicians who look for root patterns, not just quick fixes. That's who I try to work with. Also a reminder, this video is education, not medical advice. Use clinicians to rule out danger and co-design changes. Use levers and dials to make those changes stick day to day. With this final lever, we have got the full map. Calm, avoid, repair, and elevate. You are the pilot. Gutsphere is your co-pilot. Now let's stitch all together with protocols and rituals and the momentum engine so your discipline becomes the default. Information feels good, but it's passive. I used to collect tips like souvenirs. Nothing moved until I treated my day like physics. The lever is the system, the protocol is the fulcrum, and the ritual is the force. When those touch, the boulder moves. By now, you have got the map. The question is, how do you make it move on a Tuesday? For me, the answer was protocols and rituals. A protocol is a short rule set that answers what, when, and how for my body. It's the fulcrum that gives me leverage. Rituals are tiny actions I repeat even on bad days. They are the force that actually applies pressure to the liver. And protocols are personal. They can cover what you eat first in the morning, what you drink first, when you eat, the kind of movement you do, when you sleep, the breathing practice, the environment you keep, and even how you prepare for the clinical visits. It's not just why, it's how and when. For example, my morning protocol is to drink warm water immediately after I wake up. The ritual is to go to the bathroom after that. This kickstarts my day. We will build more protocols for every lever in future videos. Next, I'll show you the momentum engine, how I decide whether to keep, tweak, or switch a protocol without overthinking. When we have a flare-off, we can't stop thinking about it. And when we feel better, we stop thinking about it. And that's when we quietly stop doing what worked. I did this over and over. Prevention by definition is invisible, so I flipped it. I made prevention visible. Here's what finally made it stick for me. I stopped relying on motivation and built a tiny system that my tired self could run. When I was suffering, I woke up with just one dream. A complete bowel movement. No pain, no blood. After traveling this journey and elevating my health, I now have 1,000 dreams. One of them is to help you shorten your feedback loop, save you thousands of hours, thousands of dollars, and a lot of suffering. That's why I started Gutsphere, to make GI care accessible, affordable, and actionable, and to build a co-pilot for your journey. A co-pilot can guide you, but only you can fly your plane. I use the Gutsphere app to record this. Gutsphere app has given a tool to make this stick. Strict makes the game out of this, and cost counter make it use a loss aversion mindset that helps me stick. This makes prevention visible for me. Obviously, this is only a short overview. I have made a video in the past about how to make gut health addictive, and I will make detailed video on how to make prevention visible, along with levers and dials. That's my momentum engine. Prevention stops being invisible and discipline becomes the default. Not because I'm stronger, but because the system is smaller than my worst day. If you remember only one thing, make it this. Levers change direction. Protocols and rituals make it move. Don't trust me. Test it. Pick one lever, one protocol, 2 tiny rituals. If this helped, tell me what you are running in the comments. I read them. In the next videos, I'll go deeper on each lever with step-by-step protocols you can run for a week. I used to wake up with just one dream, a complete bowel movement, no pain, no blood. Now I have 1,000 dreams, and I want that for you. You are the pilot. Gutsphere is your co-pilot. Start tonight.